The campaign that we launched is really about bringing to light in a very direct but fun way that people basically have this benefit and don't even know about it. And we're doing it through an Amazon delivery driver and a Grubhub delivery driver who are bumping into each other at the same house over and over again now that that customer has figured out that they get this deal.
This is the Snarketing Podcast for marketers by marketers, talking to marketers with just a touch of snark. Now, here are your hosts, Valerie Vespa and Matt Wurst.
We're starting with laughter because that's what we do on a morning like this. We are here just right after the election. Caveat, we don't know who won. This is actually being recorded a day in advance, but we're hopeful that you're laughing with us because something amazing has happened and nothing terrible has happened. Right, Valerie?
That is correct. It's been quite an emotional lead up to this day.
So welcome to the first post-apocalyptic episode of the Snarketing Podcast. I am still Matt Wurst, at least for, I don't know, however many more hours I can be.
And I am Valerie Vespa.
No, we should be hopeful. We have lots to look forward to, I think. We certainly have a great episode ahead, if nothing else, right?
Agreed. This was recording that we did during the ANAs, which now feels very long ago.
Yeah, we were excited to be together in real life. Now we are back in our virtual hermit homes, only coming out, well, now it's daylight savings, so it'll only be light for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Before it gets dark again. We retreat like crabs into the sand. But how is your daylight savings approach? Do you like take extra vitamin D? Do you grin and bear it?
I'm deficient, as most New Yorkers are, to my vitamin D. So I take extra. I probably OD on it. So I'm not sure if that's going to affect me in some way down the road. But I also find that it keeps me from getting sick. So it's working. How about you?
This episode brought to you by Zarbee's Vitamin D Supplements. Don't overdose this year. That would be a fun advertiser. But we've got a great partner in Lead Feeder who you'll hear more from later in this episode. It's funny, on the days that I commute into the city, I wake up and I am out the door and I don't see the sun. I get to my office before the sun and I leave. And I'm not someone who typically leaves the office in the middle of the day for lunch unless, something good or bad or like a pitch happens, which could also be something good or bad. So I go a day or two without seeing the sun.
That's horrific. Are you serious? That's so bad.
Yeah.
You have to take a walk outside.
I should for many reasons. So on my other days, I do make the effort. I walk the dog when I'm at home. I go pick up the kids from some activity. I was playing golf just as recently as this weekend. So I do get outside. It's just like everything in my life, it's extremes. It's all light and then it's all dark.
Oh, oh no.
But you know what I do in these moments of nesting here in the winter? I order a lot. I order in delivery from my local restaurants, and I have some favorites. And I order from Grubhub. Have you heard of Grubhub?
I use it pretty much daily. My son has it on his phone and uses it regularly.
So this is a perfect lead-in for our guest today, who, yet again, we've tapped deep into the recesses of my neighbors. But Marnie Kain is the VP of Brand and Creative at Grubhub. I've known her for a long time. I've actually known her husband for before I could probably even speak, which is crazy. He and I grew up around the corner from each other, and now we're back in the same town. But professionally, Marnie was in the agency world for many, many years, and we never worked together. But you work with Grubhub, do you not, Valerie?
We do, and we have, and we love. It's very endemic, like thinking about out of home and their services. So they've been really fun to partner with.
Well, let's get to the episode because I have landscapers who are blowing leaves outside my window right now. And if we keep talking, you probably won't hear anything and you're going to go crazy. So instead
I
of
do
going
hear it.
crazy, we are going to bring, well, first, let's just hear from Al.
In this conversation, which was recorded live in person at the ANA Masters Conference in late October, we're talking with someone who certainly knows all about creative campaigns. We'll talk with Marnie Kain about her many years at agencies, what got her to go brand side, and what's happening in the wonderful world of food delivery with Grubhub. Maybe she'll even throw in a discount code for our listening audience.
Marnie Kain, welcome to the Snarketing Podcast. It's funny that we have to travel several thousand miles to see each other, even though we see each other. We live in the same town. Just spoiler alert for those who are listening and for you, Valerie. But in order to actually make this happen live, we needed to get on airplanes. So thank you for coming all this way just to see us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And you have not been at an ANA Masters Conference in a few years. What brought you back this time?
I have always had a very high opinion of A&A. And in my former agency roles, the only opportunity I had to participate is when I was in a growth and new business role at Saatchi at the time. And I had a great experience. I learned a ton. And when I came to Grubhub a year ago, one of the things that I wanted to do was get back on the A&A's radar. And I was able to join as a member company this year and even participate in the CMO delegate panel, which was great.
So now as you return to this scene where you've got brands and you're a brand, so people want to talk to you. There are agencies, there are ad tech companies. It's this convergence of a little bit of marketing babble with a lot of innovation and creativity. But as you now think back on your agency life, we're going to put this in the rearview mirror as soon as you answer this question. But now looking back on your career from Gray and Saatchi and Publicis, what were some of the things that stand out for you as just the real pillars that you grew out from and continue to serve you today?
When I was on the agency side, the areas that got me the most excited were strategy and creativity. And of course, the innovation that comes with being at a cutting edge agency. And also working with so many different types of clients and solving so many kinds of problems from small to large. So, but one of the things that kept me at the agency was frankly the people. I really liked the personalities I was always surrounded with. I actually found it entertaining in a little bit of a strange way, but
You're with creatives, so they're naturally odd.
yes. And I think that entertainment quality and the weird types of people that I interacted with just it made every day different, and it really kept things very interesting over the decades.
And like the role of the agency in our ecosystem has evolved over time, and certain things have obviously remained consistent and constant, which might be part of the challenges that they have today. So, what do you think has changed the most over the course of your career dealing with them?
I think agencies have always been about solving problems and finding new ways to address challenges. So I don't think that changes. What's really different from the early days is the integrated role that the agencies played in a client's business. So as their AOR, you would be fully embedded in their business, in their ecosystem, at their corporate events. You know, the CEO would know my name and my kids' names. That has really changed. It became a lot more transactional toward the end of my time at an agency and more project based. I think that the solving problems part is still the same, but there are so many other ways for companies and clients to get their problems solved that agencies struggle a little bit to find that place where they belong, full time at least.
So a little over a year ago, I think, you made this big decision in your life. Was this the first time you've gone and held a role on the brand side?
Yes, I had entertained at one point, very fleetingly, a CPG role. And it was a big move. It was pre-COVID, so the idea of working remotely was not even an option. And it was to a place that I really didn't want to live. So it was fleeting, but it was always attractive to me. But I always got pulled in by, frankly, a little bit of the drama and the excitement and the adrenaline of being in an agency. Because every time I turned around and got a little bored, a huge new opportunity to work on a new business or a new category or a new problem came my way. And so I never really felt bored or fatigued of agency. I always found my way to the next exciting challenge. I did, however, want to have a bigger impact on a business. And given the way agencies' roles have changed, I found it hard to do that. I found like I wasn't getting the full story. And that's what ultimately attracted me to looking outside the agency world.
Do you ever miss a little bit of that diversity, though, of bouncing around between like pizza company and laundry detergent? Like, does that variety sometimes creep into your mind, or are you so focused now on, well, I guess there's some variety in what you do
Yes.
because you're working with different types of, I don't know if you call them customers, partners, but every restaurant on the planet is certainly, I'm probably their customer.
I think that definitely the swings from one end of the spectrum to another on the agency side are amazing. One minute I was working on, steak for Darden for Longhorn Steakhouse, and the next minute
It's a meaty brief typically, right?
and the next minute I was working on the J&J vaccine. It was actually the first time I was saving lives in advertising. So that was rewarding. But
by the way, note to my wife, see, advertising can help save lives. Okay, we can continue now.
But that's a great example of the kind of continuum you're constantly on. And it does keep things very exciting, fun, interesting, and especially with pitches that come up because, you might be one day, pitching a retailer and the next day, pitching the U.S. Army and everything in between. But I do find that at a company like Grubhub, there are so many challenges. And while we're a three-sided marketplace to begin with. So we've got our consumers who order the food. We've got our restaurants and merchants who, provide the selection to our consumers. And then we also, have our drivers that are delivering the food. And so it's a really interesting category. It's never dull. And while our roots are really in food and sort of servicing restaurants and expanding their reach, we also are now in new vertical categories. And you'll start to see that we're delivering from grocery and we're delivering flowers and we're delivering pet food. And so we really are trying to meet our customers where they are and create the conveniences they need in their lives.
I'd like to say I use it pretty much daily. So living in Brooklyn, and I love it. I love the interface. Thank you.
We also have a number of B2B constituencies and B2B2C constituencies. So many companies provide a corporate plan for their employees. So whether it's a stipend that they can use over the course of the week, or whether it's a food allotment that they get every day, we see this a lot. It could also, we also are heavily infiltrated on campuses. So on many campuses, you actually get your dining dollars that are campus dining dollars used via the Grubhub app. So Grubhub is
so this is the new meal plan. You don't have to eat in the company or in the college dining hall. You can use mom and dad's dollars and just order what you want from where you want.
Yeah, you can order it from the school, different facilities in school. And in many of our locations, you could actually have it then delivered by a robot, which is really cool. You can also order in the off-campus marketplace. And in some of those restaurants, they allow you to use your dining dollars, not all of them. So it's a complex situation. It's a little different in every campus. My daughter goes to Ohio State University.
Am I allowed to boo here? No. As a Michigan? No,
All you
I won't do that.
Michigan
You're a
fans,
welcome
close
guest.
your ears. But they're really our flagship school where we're at our fullest extent. But hundreds of thousands.
Are you
of
pinging her
students.
daily for like market research? Is question number one. I have so many questions
I
about
need
this.
to be. I need
Number
to be.
two, data. Who are worse eaters, college students or these big companies who are ordering? I'm fascinated, but you don't have to spill the tea on any of this. But at some point, we need to go offline and talk about the data that you can get, because I'm sure that is also informing a lot of the decisions you make, right?
Definitely. I mean, we have a ton of data about how people who are on our app are performing for us as customers and how many times they eat, how many times a week they eat, what types of food they're ordering. We have in the past produced something at the end of the year, a little bit like a Spotify Wrapped, that tells our diners what they're ordering the most. So they may think they're getting salads, but they're often getting burritos. We also find out interesting facts about what people are ordering. So, for example, in convenience stores, which many are on the app now, the number one beverage that people order, let's see if you can guess what it is.
Beverage. I mean, I want to say alcohol, right?
Not
Non-alcohol.
alcoholic.
Okay. From convenience stores? Energy
Don't tell
drinks?
me it's Prime.
Yeah, energy drinks.
That is a great guess, but it's Dr. Pepper. Go figure.
Good for the
Good
doctor.
for Dr.
Good for the
Pepper.
doctor.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the fastest growing pizza topping is
Dr. Pepper. No, I don't know.
great guess. It's
Pineapple.
Oh,
I was
boo.
gonna say pineapple.
But we do get, aggregated factoids like what Americans eat, and that's really fun. But it's also great to see what you're eating and what you're ordering and also what you're saving. We offer a ton of value on the platform, and you could save a ton of money by becoming a Grubhub Plus member, for example.
Which I think I know I am.
I am.
We both are.
Yeah.
So you don't need to sell us, but you had me at Dr. Pepper.
Let me introduce you to a game changer in the lead gen arena, Lead Feeder. They've been our partners for months, and they're great. Now, we all know the struggle of identifying those elusive website visitors and turning them into valuable leads. Sometimes that keeps me up at night. But what if I told you there's a tool that not only promises, but delivers on supercharging your lead gen and sales efforts? That's Lead Feeder. Imagine having the power to identify companies visiting your website, track their behavior in real time, and seamlessly integrate with all the CRMs you got going on. Lead Feeder is not just a tool, it's a secret weapon for efficient and targeted lead engagement. What sets Lead Feeder apart? Well, it's the ability to provide detailed insights into visitor behavior, helping your sales team prioritize efforts and close deals faster. With customizable notifications, lead scoring, and GDPR compliance, Lead Feeder is changing the game. Ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Head over to leadfeeder.com for your free demo today. That's LEADFEEDER.com.
So can you share, because I know not only my client, but we've worked together in the capacity of you've bought a bunch of out of home from us. One recent campaign featured a special somebody. Do you want to share some of your latest and greatest hits as far as campaigns that you've worked on that you're super proud of, and kind of what's happening in the near future, if you can share anything?
Yeah, I'd love to share about our Amazon partnership, which we have right now, and a campaign that we just launched. And the reason it is so near and dear to my heart is that when I was interviewing for this role, I was doing a lot of research, and I learned that Amazon offered a Grubhub benefit where you could get $0 delivery, so not pay delivery fees on Grubhub through Amazon. And this actually started in 2022, and we had very low awareness of it. And so I started asking people if they knew about this. And by the time I got into the interview, I said, this is what you have to do. This is absolutely what you have to do, because people are leaving money on the table. And it turns out that it's over $300 a year in delivery fees that people can save. by having their just linking their accounts for Prime members, I should say, for Amazon Prime members. So just this past May, we expanded this collaboration with Amazon, and now a Prime member can actually have this benefit for Grubhub as long as they're a Prime member. So it doesn't expire. Previously, it expired after a year. Additionally, you could actually access Grubhub while you're in the Amazon app. So you never have to leave Amazon, and signing up and linking your accounts is a lot easier. So essentially, just by linking your accounts, you automatically get $0 delivery. You also get other benefits of Grubhub Plus, which is our subscription program, like 5% cash back on pickup, lots of exclusive offers, and many other things. So the campaign that we launched is really about bringing to light in a very direct but fun way that people basically have this benefit and don't even know about it. And we're doing it through an Amazon delivery driver and a Grubhub delivery driver who are bumping into each other at the same house over and over again now that that customer has figured out that they get this deal from Amazon.
I mean, I was going to ask about the role of technology and innovation. I think you probably just answered that. But in I would call it a highly competitive market that you're in, right? Me as a consumer, I have options. How do you look at trends? What data are you looking at? Is it just tapping into your daughter and her friends?
What I think it comes down to is really understanding your customer, not just the, you know, the data, but what they care about, what they're going through. We have a very, very broad consumer base, and really trying to connect with them on their terms, have the offers they want, have the restaurants that they want when they want them. Value is huge right now. So making sure that people who are Prime members are taking advantage of this great deal of $0 delivery is really important. And then just understanding what are the pain points in their lives and how can we make that easier. In the case, I keep referring to Amazon, but in the case there, nobody wants to leave money on the table. Even if you've got tons of it, the thought of just, leaving it on the table is not ideal. So pointing this out as giving a service, really understanding what restaurants are important for people. And it doesn't only mean the best restaurants in town by some standards, it means the ones you want. That bagel place that you love to go to, that deli that you love to go to, that ice cream place that you love to go to. And that was ironically one thing that I did when I first got to the company is I went to all my favorite restaurants in town where I live with Matt. And I said, are you on Grubhub? Some of them were, some of them weren't. Now they all are.
So you went like door to door in town. Wow. All right. Thank you.
I'm a real brand zealot, which also made me a good brand person because I would do that for all my clients. And then, something would inevitably change. I'd be like, oh, we can't eat that anymore. No, just kidding.
Well, they better also keep customer service and quality high, or they know that Marnie will be knocking on their door. And you know what? Now, if I get bad service, I know who to call. I'm not going to call the restaurant. I'm also going to call Marnie.
So, with all the conversation this week in ANAs around the future of marketing, how is Grubhub and how are you thinking about preparing for what's next in brand marketing?
Well, one of the things that I do as part of my job is oversee our in-house studio. And there's a lot of work because we need so much content, right? Throughout the funnel that comes through my team. And we've had to do a lot of soul searching and working on right sizing the work to fit the need and really understand where we need to spend our time, where are our priorities. And that includes finding ways to simplify tasks that don't have to be so time consuming and labor intensive. And that's where a lot of the talk here at ANA around AI is fascinating because it's not about replacing people and creativity and brain power, but it's really about enhancing and making us more effective. Compared to when I got into this business, work moves so much faster and there's so much more of it. The yield we have to produce is so much higher. And so to be able to leverage AI and other software and tools to make our jobs easier and also free up time to do some of the deeper thinking around the concepts and the strategic work that we need to do. And even things like our brand identity and our tone of voice, which we really need to make sure are differentiated and put out into the world consistently in everything that we do, given such short attention spans. That's really where the opportunity is.
So before we let you go back to the rest of the conference, which I know you're itching to get back there since there's so much fascinating insight and some good networking too, we always end our conversations with a lightning round, which you are in no way prepared for, but I feel like you've got many years of experience being fully prepared for. So just to go back to the agency world for a second, as someone who's worked with creatives, worked with great brands, any standout campaigns that you're looking back on, you're like, I am so proud of that, or so if
I love a campaign that I did for Wendy's a number of years ago. I worked with Johannes Leonardo before they had the agency, so they were Jan and Leo, and we were at Saatchi, and this was post Dave Thomas when Wendy's had sort of lost its leader and didn't really know what it wanted to be. And the campaign was essentially built on the insight that people were like lemmings, just driving off the first exit to the first QSR that they saw because they thought they were all the same. And in fact, with its fresh, never frozen burgers, Wendy's really is better, tastes better, and it holds up better. So we need to get that point across and let people know that there is a difference. And we did it by using the red wig as a symbol of enlightenment. And so quite literally, we featured a bunch of people in a forest kicking trees like a bunch of lemmings, except one of the guys kicking trees had the red wig on. And as he kicked and kicked, he got thinking, wait a minute, why am I putting up with, soggy, cold, brown burgers when I could have a hot, juicy burger? And he started a revolution.
well, it's making me hungry, but I think this entire conversation has served to do that, and we are talking right before dinner. Grubhub is on the first screen of my phone. There aren't many that can claim that status. It's like the Hall of Fame of apps. I move other things around depending on what's going on in my life, but Grubhub has not been knocked off yet. Let's say Grubhub aside, what's the app that you're going to most on your phone?
That's interesting. So for work, I'm always on LinkedIn. I get a lot of information from LinkedIn, a lot of shortcuts to the stories and the information I want, and I share a lot of that. And for personal use, I must admit, I'm a meta girl. I'm still on Facebook and Instagram, and those are my jams.
And last question, what's the best meal you've ordered on Grubhub?
Oh, well, there's a restaurant in town that I'm sure you've heard of called Wild Goose, and they have an amazing chicken dish that I get all the time on Grubhub.
Marnie, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to ANA Masters. We've been here a few times since, but we loved having you. I'm so glad we were finally able to do this. We would have done it a long time ago, but we needed to do this in person. We've now ripped the Band-Aid off. Very insightful. Wishing you a great rest of the conference and trip.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks, Marnie, Matt, and Valerie for the great chat. And I'm hoping you guys get the volume and recording situation fixed before the next time you record live. I did the best I could with post-production editing. We'll see everyone back in the studio next time.